The House Oversight Committee just released Jeffrey Epstein's estate records. Here's my 4 takeaways. Hey everybody, welcome back to the center lane. The political discussion for those of us in the middle. Compromise is not a bad thing. Well, the White House, Oversight Committee has just released the Epstein records from his will, his estate. And there's 4 things I took away from it. First and foremost, that picture. It's real. It's real. And guess what? The signatures, they match. I mean, it's not just that his current signatures, the Wall Street Journal and many other publications at this point, I'm talking now, Tuesday morning, have gone through, shown a gazillion examples of when Donald Trump just signs his name, Donald. Now, I'm not a handwriting expert, but it's pretty hard to say that there's no way those signatures match. So it's a real picture. Secondly, on that point, why would there be a fake birthday card made in 2003? You know, the card's real. So they're saying it's a fake, it's a phony. Why would they have done that 22 years ago? That makes no sense to me. I mean, if somebody shoved it in there now because he's president, yeah, but back then, come on. It was in a book with a bunch of other cards from a bunch of other people, you know? So that doesn't make a lot of sense that it would be a fake, a hoax, or a phony. It's a real card, okay? Second point is, why deny it? If you did it, look, it's a 50th birthday party. I can tell from my 50th birthday, which has been a while ago, but with my party, it's bawdy. You get joke things like that. You know, you could just say, hey, man, it was his 50th birthday party. It was a joke. And most people would say, okay, it's poor taste. It's not really funny, but I'll give you an example from mine. One of my friends, when we opened up my presents, and my parents, when they were still alive, came down. And one of my friends said it was a card from my dad. I opened it up and said, Dear John, you were a mistake. Love, Dad. And my dad got pissed about that. But you know, it's funny. It's a body thing. So I thought I'd share that with you. So why deny that? Well, I'll tell you why he's going to deny it. Because he has to now, because he's got a $10 billion lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal. If you say you wrote the card now and it was just a joke, then why are you suing the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion, right? So he's got himself painted in a corner with this thing because they're going to prove that the card's real. I mean, it's real. And again, if you just admit it in the first place, which I don't understand about Trump with stuff like this, just admit it. Nobody's perfect. It was a joke. You could have done it differently and handled it differently, but right now, it's not looking good at all. Third thing too, I think it shows what Trump back in the days, particularly between the Hollywood Access tapes, you know, grabbing women. He's a misogynist. You know, they both were there. They thought it was funny, to treat women like they're just pieces of meat, obviously, and so. I think it shows a certain complicity back then, his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and in general. So if Epstein was with some younger girls, as he puts it, in that one comment he made about he tends to go towards younger women, Donald Trump at least knew that what Epstein was, you know, he's a 50-year-old guy. What are you doing with a 16-year-old girl? It's insane. I know they didn't mention that Donald Trump was an FBI informant, which I got shot down after Speaker Johnson said that. Then he reversed himself. But one of my comments yesterday was really interesting. It got me thinking. I don't remember who it is. And I thank you for putting it out there. He said, well, you know, FBI informants in 2009, it could have been, you know, they offer something up. Okay, I'll tell you what, if you help bury this guy, whatever we got on you, we're going to make that go away. It happens a lot with drugs. For example, a street-level drug dealer sells an undercover agent some drugs. They said, look, we'll get rid of this charge if you tell us where you got your drugs from. Kind of that same scenario, maybe? I don't know. But that was a really interesting point, I thought. So I wanted to point that out. Good job. Thanks for that comment, by the way. And a bunch of other great ones, too, yesterday, as a matter of fact. Last but not least, obviously the Democratic side of the Oversight Committee put this out, and the Republican side is upset about it. Why would you do that? How could you do something like that? But listen, this is politics. That's the political part of this, which really kind of stinks, but it's the reality of what in the world we live in now. But the Republicans do the same thing. They, when they were looking at Hunter Biden, they were releasing things that weren't supposed to be in this and that. And they both sides do it all the time. So I don't believe that, hey, I'm happy. I'm surprised. I'm going to put that as my final point too. I'm surprised that this came out in the first place. I really am. I didn't think we'd get anything. So this is pretty salacious stuff. I know they're trying to change the headline today with some ICE raid in Chicago and calling it Project Midway and all these other distractions. But this is not going away. This is not going away. And what I find interesting too is there's got to be more underlying things. The deny. This could have been a lot easier on Trump. Who is he protecting? Is he protecting himself? Is he protecting his friends? Is he protecting his donors? This is all going to come out, and it's like I say. Look, Clinton will tell you this with Monica Lewinsky. This kind of stuff just doesn't die on the vine. it comes to a conclusion. We'll see what this one is. You guys leave those comments below. Certainly appreciate that, and I will talk to you tomorrow.